I'm standing in my kitchen at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, holding a crumpled piece of paper that I've kept in my wallet for 3 years, and I'm about to do the scariest thing I've ever done, throw it away. But before I can explain why that matters, I need to tell you about the list, and about Connor, and about how completely, spectacularly wrong I am about what love is supposed to look like. I have no idea, standing here with this paper trembling in my hands, that everything I believe about myself is about to unravel. It starts with heartbreak, like most stupid ideas do. I can still see myself 3 years ago, standing in my living room while Austin tells me he's leaving. Not just leaving my apartment, leaving me, for his coworker. The one he swore was just a friend every time I asked. I think we've just grown apart, he says, like he's reading from a script. Like 2 years of planning a future together can be dismissed with a corporate breakup phrase. Grown apart, I repeat? You're leaving me for her. That's not growing apart. That's you lying to me for months. He sighs like I'm being dramatic, like I'm the problem. See, this is what I mean. You always make everything so complicated. After he leaves, I sit on my bathroom floor at 2 a.m. with mascara streaming down my face, replaying every red flag I ignored. The canceled plans he blamed on work when he was really with her. The way he stopped complimenting me, but liked every single one of her Instagram posts. How he got defensive whenever I asked simple questions, turning everything into my fault for being paranoid. I wasn't paranoid, I was right. And I ignored all of it because he was charming and tall, and said the right things when it mattered. Just enough to keep me hoping. That's the night I decide I'm done leaving love up to chance. Done trusting my heart, because clearly my heart is an idiot. So I make a list. The list. My soulmate checklist. I sit at my kitchen table with a glass of wine and a pen, and I write down everything Austin wasn't. Everything that would have saved me from this mess, if I'd just been smart enough to require it from the start, 6'2" or taller. Because Austin was 5'11", and I always felt like I was looking down at him in heels, because I want someone who makes me feel protected, instead of like I'm the one holding everything together. Prestigious career, lawyer, doctor, finance. Because Austin worked in marketing and was always between promotions, always chasing something that never materialized. No more uncertainty, no more potential. I want someone who's already arrived, well-dressed, because Austin wore the same 3 hoodies on rotation, and I want someone who takes himself seriously. Assertive, because Austin couldn't make a decision to save his life, and I'm exhausted from always being the one who has to choose. Fitness-focused. 5-year plan, stable family background. 8 items. Each one feels like a lock on a door I'm slamming shut. Each one feels like protection against ever feeling this stupid again. I write it in my best handwriting, laminate a copy, and keep the original folded in my wallet like armor. Brooklyn, my best friend, tells me I'm insane when I show her. You can't order a soulmate off a menu, she says. That's not how love works. That's exactly how it should work, I tell her. I'm done with surprises, and for 3 years that list guides every dating decision I make. 14 first dates with men who check every box. 0 sparks. 0 flutters. Just the hollow satisfaction of doing this correctly. Then Brooklyn starts dating Chase, and Chase has a best friend named Connor. And that list I've been clutching like a lifeline, it's about to become completely useless. I just don't know it yet. I meet him on a Friday night at a rooftop bar downtown. Brooklyn and Chase have been together 3 months, and they're doing that annoying couple thing, where they want their friends to get along. I show up in a silk blouse and my favorite heels. I've already scoped the menu, planned my order. I'm prepared. Then I see him. He's sitting next to Chase, and my first thought is, that's not what I expected. Connor is maybe 5'10". He's wearing a soft gray flannel over a plain white t-shirt, hair slightly messy like he forgot to check a mirror. He's got paint under his fingernails, I notice, because he reaches for his drink and the light catches a smudge of blue near his thumb. Height, fail. Presentation, questionable at best. But there's something about the way he's sitting. Relaxed, unhurried, like he's not trying to impress anyone. That makes me look a second longer than I should. He's handsome, in an unpolished, accidental kind of way. The kind of handsome that sneaks up on you instead of announcing itself. And I mentally shake myself, because handsome doesn't matter if he fails the checklist. Brooklyn introduces us. This is Connor. He's basically Chase's brother. Connor, this is Haley, my person. Connor stands to shake my hand, and I notice he doesn't tower over me. In these heels, we're almost eye level. He smiles, not the confident, commanding smile I've imagined on my future soulmate. It's quieter, a little crooked, like he's genuinely happy to meet me and doesn't feel the need to perform about it. Brooklyn talks about you constantly, he says. I feel like I already know you. Good things, I hope. Terrifying things, mostly. Something about how you color code your entire apartment. I narrow my eyes at Brooklyn, who shrugs innocently. Organization isn't terrifying, I say. It's efficient. Sure, his eyes crinkle. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I decide right then that I do not like him. We sit down and I learn Connor is an illustrator. Children's books, dragons and talking animals and kids who save the world. That sounds, I search for a diplomatic word, creative. It pays the bills, barely. He grins completely unbothered. But I get to draw for a living, so I can't complain. Last week I spent 3 days perfecting a grumpy cloud with feelings. Best 3 days of my month. A grumpy cloud with feelings. That's not a 5-year plan. That's barely a 5-minute plan. Career fail. Ambition unclear. 5-year plan probably non-existent. But there's a small traitorous part of my brain that's curious. That wants to ask about the grumpy cloud. That notices how his whole face lights up when he talks about his work. I ignore that part. Brooklyn kicks me under the table anyway. The conversation moves on. Connor tells a story about a 6-year-old who drew him as a wizard frog and presented it like a formal portrait. Everyone laughs. Even I laugh despite myself, because the way he tells it, all warmth and genuine delight, makes it impossible not to. At the end of the night, I trip on a crack in the sidewalk. Just a stumble, but my heel catches wrong. Connor catches my elbow, steadies me. Let's go immediately. You good? Fine. These shoes are a hazard. They're very impressive hazards. I can't tell if he's making fun of me or complimenting me, and before I can figure it out, the moment is over. That night, I remind myself that Connor fails at least 5 of the 8 requirements and go to sleep. I don't think about him again. At least that's what I tell myself. But the truth is, I think about his crooked smile more than I want to admit. I have no idea yet how much that smile is about to wreck my perfectly organized life. And then everything falls apart. It's Monday morning. I work in marketing for a mid-sized software company. I'm good at my job. Organized, thorough. I always meet my deadlines. Except today my laptop crashes. Not just freezes, crashes. The screen goes black during a client presentation I'm supposed to lead in 45 minutes. And when I restart, half my files are corrupted. 2 weeks of work, gone. I'm in the bathroom at my office, gripping the sink, trying not to cry, when my phone buzzes. Brooklyn, emergency coffee run. Chase's friend is joining. Don't hate me. I don't have time for coffee, but Brooklyn knows that when I'm panicking, being alone makes it worse. So I splash water on my face and walk to the coffee shop around the corner. Connor is already there. He's sitting at a corner table with a sketchbook open. He looks up when I walk in, and his expression shifts from casual to alert in half a second. You okay? I must look terrible. Fine, I lie. He doesn't believe me. I can tell because he closes his sketchbook and gestures to the seat across from him. Brooklyn's running late. He pushes a cup toward me. She told me your order, just in case. I stare at the cup. Oat milk latte with vanilla. My exact order. I take a sip. It's perfect. My laptop crashed, I finally say. I lost everything. I have a presentation in 38 minutes, and I have nothing. Connor doesn't offer solutions or tell me to calm down. He just nods. That's awful. It's a disaster. Yeah, he leans forward slightly. But you don't need to recreate it perfectly. You need to walk in there and remember that you know this stuff better than anyone. Slides are just visuals. You're the presentation. I blink at him. That's surprisingly wise. I have my moments. He smiles that crooked smile. Besides, I once had to present an entire picture, book concept using only hand gestures, because my laptop died. I acted out a whole scene about a dragon who's afraid of butterflies. The publisher laughed so hard she cried. I got the contract. I'm laughing now. Actually laughing. And somehow the panic has loosened its grip. Go, Connor says. Do your presentation. You've got this. I deliver the presentation from memory. No slides. My boss calls it refreshingly authentic. The client loves it. When I text Brooklyn to thank her for the coffee ambush, she responds with a single emoji. I ignore the implication, but I can't stop thinking about how calm I felt sitting across from Connor, how he didn't try to fix anything. Just sat with me in it and somehow made it smaller. That wasn't on the list. I shake off the thought and go back to my color-coded calendar, but something has shifted, and I have no idea how much that one coffee is going to change everything. The next time I see Connor is worse. It's Thursday night at Brooklyn's apartment, a surprise. Birthday thing for Chase. The apartment is packed, music playing, someone already spilling drinks in the kitchen. Brooklyn is in full hostess mode. I show up with wine, feeling good, cute dress, hair cooperating. Connor is across the room, talking to Chase. He's wearing another flannel, green this time, and when he spots me, he lifts his hand in a small wave. Not showy, just acknowledging. I wave back, feeling stupidly warm about it. And then I spill an entire glass of red wine down my front. It happens fast. Someone bumps into me, my hand jerks, and suddenly my cream-colored dress is a crime scene. I stand frozen, wine dripping onto the floor. Every single person staring at me. My face goes hot, my stomach drops. This is my nightmare, being the center of attention for the wrong reason, looking stupid and messy and imperfect in front of everyone. I can feel their eyes, hear the sudden hush in the conversations around me. Someone gasps. Someone else whispers something I can't quite catch but know is about me. Then Connor appears. He doesn't make a scene. He just materializes beside me with paper towels and a neutral expression. Kitchen, he says quietly. Brooklyn won't mind. He guides me out with one hand on my elbow. Not pushing, just steering. Behind us, Chase says something loud about cake, and everyone's attention shifts. Suddenly, I'm not the spectacle anymore. In the kitchen, Connor digs through cabinets. Salt and club soda. My mom's trick. She raised 3 boys. Our house was basically a disaster zone. 3 boys? Yeah, I'm the middle one, which explains a lot, according to my therapist. I laugh despite myself. He hands me the salt, giving me space. Why are you being so nice to me? I blurt out. He looks surprised. Why wouldn't I be? I don't know. I trail off, not sure how to explain that I've spent years building walls and checklists and defenses, and he keeps walking through them like they're made of tissue paper. You're Brooklyn's person, he says simply. That makes you important, and wine stains are objectively the worst. No one should face that alone. Such a Connor answer. No grand gesture, just straightforward kindness. We go back to the party. The rest of the night, I watch him move through the room. He refills drinks without being asked. He pulls Miranda into a conversation when she's standing alone. He laughs at Chase's terrible jokes like they're actually funny. He's the kind of person who makes everyone around him feel a little more at ease. And that's not on any checklist I've ever written. It's annoying. He's annoying. And I'm about to find out exactly how much trouble I'm in. Then Derek happens. Brooklyn sets me up with him the following week. Derek is 6'3", finance, tailored suits, 5-year plan that includes a vacation property. He checks every single box so perfectly that I'm almost suspicious. Our first date is at an upscale restaurant with cloth, napkins, and a wine list that requires its own table of contents. So, Derek says, leaning back with practiced ease. Brooklyn tells me you're in marketing. It has its moments. I'm in wealth management, handle portfolios for high net worth clients. He straightens his cufflinks, actual cufflinks. Last quarter, I grew my book of business by 30%. Impressive. It's about strategy, knowing what you want and going after it. He takes a sip of wine, then adds, I can usually tell within 5 minutes if someone has that same drive. You seem like you might. Something about the way he says it, like he's evaluating me for a position, makes my skin prickle. The conversation flows smoothly, but it feels like a performance. Every time I say something, Derek responds with the correct answer. Never a stumble, never genuine surprise. 5 years from now, he says, I'll have a vacation property, mountains, skiing in winter, hiking in summer. What's your 5-year plan? I open my mouth to answer, and I realize I don't know anymore. I'm figuring that out, I say. His smile doesn't waver, but something flickers in his eyes. Disappointment. That's okay, he says smoothly. Sometimes people need a little guidance to find their direction. I have a great financial advisor who does life planning workshops. Very effective for people who are still finding themselves. There it is. The subtle condescension wrapped in helpfulness. I'm not lost, I say, keeping my voice light. I'm just open to possibilities. Of course. He nods, but there's a slight tightening around his mouth, though I've found that successful people usually know exactly where they're headed. Openness can sometimes be another word for lack of focus. He's not trying to learn about me. He's trying to assess whether I can be improved into something more convenient. Tell me something about yourself that isn't on a resume, I say, trying to shift the energy. Something random, something imperfect, Derek thinks. I run marathons. That's still a resume thing. What? I'm asking about something messy, something you're not proud of. He sets down his fork. I'm not sure I understand. Why would I lead with something I'm not proud of? That seems counterproductive, and that's exactly the problem. By dessert, I'm counting minutes. Derek reaches to touch my hand and I flinch. Actually flinch. You work too hard, he says sympathetically. You need someone to take care of you, to steer the ship, so to speak. It lands like a thud, because I realize realize, sitting across from this objectively perfect man, that I don't want to be steered. I don't want to be a ship. I don't want to be managed into something more convenient. I want to be seen. I want someone who hands me paper towels without making it a big deal, who sits with me through panic without trying to fix it, who tells stupid stories about wizard frogs and grumpy clouds and makes me laugh when everything is falling apart. Derek kisses my cheek at my car. I tell him I'll text him. I don't text him. I go home and stare at my checklist. And for the first time in 3 years, I wonder if I got it completely wrong. I don't know it yet, but that dinner is the last time I'll pretend a checklist is enough. The next few days blur into chaos. Work gets intense. Impossible deadlines. Brooklyn is busy with Chase. I'm barely sleeping, running on caffeine and the illusion that I have everything under control. Then my sister calls. Kendra is 2 years younger and perpetually figuring life out. We're close but complicated. I've spent my whole life being the stable one, the successful one. I need a place to crash, she says, voice thick like she's been crying. I broke up with Mitchell. I can't be at the apartment. Of course, come over. She arrives with 2 suitcases and red-rimmed eyes, and suddenly I'm managing her heartbreak on top of everything else. By Saturday morning, I'm running on empty. Brooklyn texts about a group brunch. I should cancel, but Kendra needs space to nap, and I need to escape before I completely lose it. Connor is there. Of course he is. He takes one look at me and sees it. The exhaustion. The fraying edges. You look like you need 12 hours of sleep, he says quietly. It's been a week. Want to talk about it? I shake my head. I just need to exist without performing. I stare at him. That's exactly it. That's the thing I couldn't name. Yes, exactly. He nods and turns back to the group, but I notice him positioning himself like a buffer between me and the chaos, creating a pocket of quiet. I shouldn't find it comforting, but I do. After brunch, everyone's heading to some farmer's market. I start making excuses about Kendra, and Connor catches my eye. I'm heading out too. Want to walk? Every rational part of my brain screams that spending time alone with Connor is a bad idea. He fails the list. He's a complication I don't need. Sure, I hear myself say. We walk through the neighborhood, past brownstones and families with strollers. A perfect fall day, crisp and golden. What's actually going on? He asks eventually. I could deflect, give him the surface answer. But something about the way he asks, without pressure, without expectation, makes me want to tell the truth. My sister's staying with me. Breakup. Work is a disaster. I haven't slept more than 4 hours in 3 days. And I went on a date with a guy who was objectively perfect, and I felt nothing. That's a lot. It's fine. I'm handling it. You're allowed to not be fine. You know that, right? Something tightens in my chest. I don't really do not fine. I make lists and plans. That's my thing. Must be exhausting. I stop walking. What? He turns to face me. Having to have it together all the time. Performing control constantly. It sounds exhausting. No one has ever said that to me. Everyone accepts my competence as a given. No one ever asks if it's heavy. It is, I admit, and my voice comes out smaller than I intend. It really is. So put it down. Just for a minute. I don't know how. Yeah, his voice is soft. I think that might be the problem. We stand there on the sidewalk and I feel something crack. Some wall I didn't know I'd built. My soulmate checklist. I say suddenly. Did Brooklyn tell you about it? She might have mentioned it. It's stupid. I don't think it's stupid. You got hurt. You wanted control. A list feels like control. You're not going to tell me I'm being ridiculous? Why would I? You're protecting yourself. That's human. I feel tears prick my eyes. I should get back to Kendra. I manage. Text me if you need anything. Even if it's just someone to sit in the chaos with. I nod and walk away fast before I can do something embarrassing, like tell him he's the first person in years who's made me feel like I can breathe. He's not what I'm looking for. He's not, but my body doesn't seem to care what my list says. And I'm starting to realize my heart doesn't either. That night, Kendra and I are on the couch eating leftover Chinese when my phone buzzes. Derek, had a great time the other night. Dinner again this weekend? Found a place you'll love. I stare at the text. I should respond. Derek checks every box, but I don't want Derek. Who's that? Kendra asks. Just this guy Brooklyn set me up with. The finance one? The one you said was technically perfect? Yeah, you don't look excited. I'm just tired. Kendra sets down her food and gives me that look. The one that says she's about to say something I don't want to hear. Can I ask you something? Sure. When are you going to stop dating guys who look good on your checklist and start dating someone who actually makes you happy? I stiffen. That's not. I saw how you looked at Connor today at brunch. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Kendra's voice is gentle but firm. Haley, I know I'm a mess right now. I know I'm crashing on your couch because I made terrible choices with Mitchell, but at least I made choices based on how I actually felt. And look where that got you. The words come out sharper than I mean them. Kendra flinches like I've slapped her. Wow, okay. Kendra, I didn't. No, you're right. Her voice is tight, hurt, bleeding through. I'm a mess. But you know what? At least I'm honest about it. You're just as lost as I am, Haley. You're just better at hiding it behind your lists and your plans and your perfect life that isn't actually making you happy. She gets up and walks to the bedroom, closing the door quietly behind her. I sit on the couch, her words ringing in my ears. You're just as lost as I am. My phone buzzes again. Derek following up. I turn the phone face down and try to breathe through the tightness in my chest. I've just hurt the person I was trying to protect, and I don't know how to fix it. I thought the worst part would be her words. I was wrong. My own body is about to turn on me. The next 2 days, Kendra and I are polite but distant. I apologize. She says it's fine, but there's a wall between us now, and I put it there. I lie awake at night replaying what I said, feeling sick about it. She came to me because she was hurting, and I weaponized her pain to deflect from my own fear. That's not protecting her. That's using her as a shield. Wednesday night, she finally warms up enough that we're watching a movie together. It should be nice, but somewhere between the opening credits and the halfway point, my chest starts to tighten. At first, I ignore it. Just anxiety. I'll breathe through it. Then my hands start tingling. My fingers go numb, then prickly, like static electricity crawling under my skin. Then my heart is slamming against my ribs so hard I can hear it in my ears. The room tilts. The edges of my vision go dark and sparkly. I can't catch my breath. I'm dying. I'm actually dying. Haley? Kendra's voice sounds like it's coming through water. Muffled. Warped. Like someone's pressing their hands over my ears. Haley, what's wrong? I can't answer. Can't speak. Can't do anything except gasp for air and press my back against the couch like I can hold myself together if I just push hard enough. The TV sounds wrong. Too loud, but also distant. Like it's playing in another room. My own heartbeat drowns everything out. Thudding, racing, wrong. I slide off the couch onto the floor because sitting up is too hard. The carpet is rough under my palms. That's real. That's something. My phone is in my hand. I don't remember picking it up. I text Connor. Can you come over? Having a bad night. Kendra doesn't know what to do. do. Neither do I. I don't think about it. Don't question why he's the person I reach for. 20 minutes later, there's a knock at my door. Kendra answers. I hear her voice, confused but relieved. Are you Connor? She's over there. I don't know what to do. It's okay. His voice is calm, steady, an anchor in the chaos. This happens sometimes. You did the right thing letting me in. Then he's there, sitting down next to me on the floor, not touching, just close. Hey, he says quietly. I'm here. I can't look at him. Can't do anything but gasp and shake. My hands are trembling so hard they don't feel like mine. Can you tell me 5 things you can see? I stare at him, barely processing. 5 things, he repeats, voice low and even. Just look around. Name them. My voice comes out cracked and small. The couch, the TV, Kendra, your shoes, the takeout container. Good, 4 things you can feel. The floor. I press my palms flat against the carpet. My jeans. My heartbeat. I pause. Your voice. That counts. 3 things you can hear. The ceiling fan clicking. A car outside. Connor breathing slow and steady. 2 things you can smell. Chinese food, your laundry detergent or something. 1 thing you can taste. Coffee from earlier. He nods. Now breathe with me. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. He breathes slowly, exaggeratedly, and I try to match him. It takes forever. Maybe 30 minutes. But eventually the world stops spinning. My hands stop shaking. My heart remembers what a normal rhythm feels like. I'm sitting on my living room floor with mascara on my cheeks and 0 dignity left. Connor hands me a tissue. Sorry, I croak. For what? For this. For texting you. For being a complete disaster. You're not a disaster. He says it simply. You're a person who had a panic attack after days of not sleeping and weeks of holding everyone together. That's not a disaster. That's being human. I'm supposed to be the one who handles things. Says who? I don't have an answer. You texted me, he says. You asked for help. That's not weakness. That's trust. I'm crying again. Actual tears. I'm so tired, I whisper. I'm so tired of pretending I have it all figured out. Then stop pretending. At least with me. He doesn't reach for me, doesn't try to hold me. Just sits there, solid and present, letting me fall apart without making it a crisis. After a while, my crying slows. Kendra brings water and a blanket, watching Connor with something like understanding in her eyes. You didn't have to come, I say finally. I know. Why did you? He looks at me. Because you asked. And because watching you pretend to be okay when you're not is one of the hardest things I've ever done. I keep wanting to tell you that you don't have to earn love by being perfect. My breath catches. Is that weird? He asks. It's the least weird thing anyone's ever said to me. He smiles. That crooked smile. Get some sleep, he says. I'll let myself out. Connor. He pauses at the door. Thank you for being the person I wanted to text. Something warm flickers in his eyes. Always. And then he's gone, and I'm sitting on my floor wondering how I spent 3 years looking for someone who fit a list when what I needed was someone who saw me. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I think about what I want, about what I've been chasing, about the difference between a checklist and a connection. At some point, Kendra comes out of the bedroom and sits next to me on the couch. I'm sorry, she says quietly. What I said the other night? About you being lost. It was true. Maybe, but I could have said it better. She pulls her knees up. And what you said about my choices. I know you didn't mean it. I didn't. I was scared and defensive, and I took it out on you. That's not fair. That's not who I want to be. We're both kind of a mess right now, huh? I almost laugh. Yeah, I think we are. She's quiet for a moment. Then, that guy, Connor, he's not what I expected. What do you mean? I mean, he's not your type. He's not tall or fancy or whatever. But the way he looked at you tonight, she shakes her head. Mitchell never looked at me like that. Like I was the only thing in the room that mattered. I don't say anything, but something settles in my chest. I love you, Kendra says. Even when you're mean to me, even when you're scared, I love you too. Even when you're right about things I don't want to hear. She leans her head on my shoulder. And for a moment, we just sit there. Sisters. Messy and imperfect. And figuring it out together. I think you should tear up that stupid list, she says. Yeah, I think you might be right. The sun starts coming up. Gray light seeps through my curtains. I walk to my kitchen. Find the list in my wallet. I smooth it flat on my counter. The paper is soft from years of folding and refolding. Some of the ink has smeared. The edges are worn thin. It looks exactly like what it is. Something I've been clutching too tightly for too long. I look at it one more time. 6'2" or taller. I think about Connor, eye level with me in my heels. How I never once felt small standing next to him. How I actually felt like an equal. Prestigious career. I think about his sketchbook. The wizard frog. Kids at a community center learning to draw. The way his whole face lights up when he talks about grumpy clouds with feelings. Well-dressed, assertive, fitness-focused. I think about flannels and paint-stained fingers and quiet smiles that don't need to perform. 5-year plan. I think about figure it out as we go. And how that doesn't terrify me anymore. My hands are shaking. But it's not panic this time. I grab the edge of the paper, and I tear. The sound is louder than I expect. A sharp, clean rip that echoes in the quiet kitchen. The paper resists for half a second. 3 years of holding on tight, then gives way. I tear it again. And again. One piece catches my eye. Stable family background. I remember Connor talking about his mom, his 3 brothers, the chaos of his childhood. I remember how much warmth was in his voice. How he wasn't ashamed of where he came from. How that chaos made him kinder instead of harder. I let the piece fall, until it's nothing but scraps scattered across my counter, and I feel lighter than I have in years. Kendra appears in the doorway, hair messy from sleep. You okay? She asks. Yeah, I smile at her. I'm actually great. She looks at the torn paper. Is that? Yeah, good. She smiles back. I'll make coffee. I look at the scraps one more time. 3 years of armor, reduced to confetti. And I know what I need to do next. I find Connor at the coffee shop. Same corner table. Sketchbook open. He looks up when I walk in. Something in his expression softens. Hey, how are you feeling? Better. I sit across from him. Thanks to you. I didn't do anything. You did everything. He sets down his pencil. Gives me his full attention. I tore up the list, I say. This morning, ripped it into pieces. He blinks. Your soulmate checklist? Yeah. Why? Because it was wrong. Everything I thought I wanted. The height, the career, the 5-year plan, none of it matters. It was just armor. I was so scared of getting hurt again that I made this ridiculous list. And I almost missed the thing that actually matters. Which is, I take a breath. How I feel when I'm with you. Connor goes very still. You fail every item on that list, I continue. You're not 6'2". You draw pictures for a living. You show up in flannels and paint-stained jeans. You have no idea where you'll be in 5 years. You're nothing like what I thought I wanted. This is a very confusing compliment. But you make me feel safe. My voice cracks. You see me? The real me, the messy, anxious, falling apart on my living room floor me. and you don't try to fix it or manage it or make it into something more convenient for you. You just sit with me in the chaos, and somehow that makes the chaos quieter. He's looking at me like I've handed him something precious. Derek wanted to steer me. You just wanted to be with me. That's the difference. That's everything. Haley, his voice is rough. I've been trying so hard not to fall for you. Why? Because you seemed so sure about what you wanted, and I'm not that. I'm never going to be that. I'm a children's book illustrator who gets paint on everything and doesn't own a single suit. I'm not the kind of guy who ends up on anyone's list. That's exactly why you should be on mine. He laughs, surprised and warm and a little broken. You're serious. Very. I reach across the table. My hand finds his. I don't want the list anymore. I want someone who shows up when things fall apart, who makes me laugh when I'm spiraling, who sees me at my worst and stays. I can do that. His fingers lace through mine. I've been doing that. I know. I'm sorry it took me so long to notice. You noticed eventually. That's what matters. We sit there, hands intertwined, and everything I thought I knew about love rearranges into something new. So, Connor says, does this mean I can finally take you on an actual date? I think I'd like that. Good. None of my ideas involve cloth napkins. Perfect. He grins at me, that crooked smile. I've been trying so hard to resist, and something clicks into place. That night, Brooklyn throws an impromptu celebration at her apartment. Impromptu meaning she coordinated with Chase, ordered pizza, and bought champagne in 3 hours flat. I can't believe you two finally got your act together, she says, practically vibrating. Do you know how painful it's been watching you circle each other? We weren't circling, I protest. You were absolutely circling, like very stubborn, very oblivious sharks. Connor appears with pizza. I prefer to think of it as strategic reconnaissance. You were pining, Chase says flatly. You talked about her constantly. You made me promise not to say anything. It was embarrassing. I was not pining. You drew her, multiple times. In your sketchbook. Connor's face goes red. You drew me? I ask. Just sketches. From memory. Not a big deal. Show me. Absolutely not. I will find that sketchbook. It's hidden. Challenge accepted. Brooklyn catches my eye and mouths, I love you both, with aggressive enthusiasm. Kendra is here too, looking better than she has in days. Miranda is telling her something that makes her laugh. Really laugh. For the first time since she showed up at my door. Connor notices me watching. Your sister seems better. She is. We had a real conversation last night. The kind where you actually say things instead of pretending everything's fine. That's good. She also told me to tear up the list. Smart woman. It runs in the family, occasionally. Later, when the pizza is gone and Brooklyn is loudly planning our wedding. Spring. Outdoor venue. Live band. I step onto the balcony. Connor follows. Hiding. Processing. I lean against the railing. A week ago, I was on a date with Derek, feeling nothing. Checking boxes. Telling myself that was enough. Now I'm here, with you, and I feel everything. Good everything? The best everything. He moves closer. I know this is fast, he says, and I know you like plans and certainty. So I want you to know, I'm not going anywhere. You can take whatever time you need. I'll still be here. That might be the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. Really? It was off the cuff. I could prepare something better. Don't you dare. He laughs and I lean into him. My list was about protection, I say. I thought if I found someone who fit all the criteria, I'd be safe. I could control whether I got hurt. And now? Now I think the things that keep us safe aren't things we can write down. They're things we feel. I look up at him. 3 years ago, I thought home meant checking boxes, having a plan, being in control. Now home feels like this. Standing next to someone and knowing I don't have to perform. Knowing I can fall apart and they'll still be there. Connor turns to face me. His hands find my waist. You feel like home to me too, he says, from the first night. You were so determined, so sure of yourself, and so completely wrong about what you actually wanted. Rude. True though. Yeah, very true. He kisses me. Soft and slow and certain. When we break apart, I'm smiling so hard my face hurts. Hey Connor? Yeah? I don't have a 5-year plan anymore. Good. Overrated. But I have a right now plan. What's that? Stay here with you. Figure out the rest as we go. He grins. I can work with that. Inside, Brooklyn is playing music too loud. Chase is dancing terribly. Kendra is laughing at something Miranda said. It's chaotic and imperfect, and nothing like the controlled life I tried to build for 3 years. It's perfect. Ready to go back in? Connor asks. Yeah, I take his hand. Let's go. We walk back into the warmth and noise and beautiful mess of people who love us. And somewhere on my kitchen counter, my old list lies in pieces. No longer armor, no longer protection, just evidence of who I used to be before I learned that the best things in life are the ones you never think to write down. Connor squeezes my hand. I squeeze back. I don't know what comes next, but standing here surrounded by people I love, holding the hand of someone who sees me exactly as I am, I know it's going to be good.